Please take a second, pause the video, and read this disclaimer. Today we're looking at how to use a lacrosse ball to improve shoulder abduction by using ischemic pressure, that is going after trigger points. Now, as always, you should not perform this unless you've been cleared by a medical professional and instructed in how to use a lacrosse ball by a fitness professional. Now, the way that I release my trigger points is putting that lacrosse ball right on the trigger point, wedging it in between my body and the ground, and doing that motion. And as you can see, it is not the most comfortable thing by any stretch of the imagination. Now, what I'm doing when I'm going through this motion is I'm basically trying to use the lacrosse ball to keep pressure on that trigger point while going through the range of motion of the movement that it's limiting. Now you're going to notice here by the time that this video is done how much better my range of motion is, and that's because trigger points can impact your range of motion. It's basically just a bunch of tissue that's choosing to contract when it should relax, and we're using the lacrosse ball as a stimulus in order to get it to relax, to calm down, and to release, and to let me have my range of motion. Now, I do these, as you can see, for repetitions. I try and do about 10 to 20 repetitions based on what I need in order to feel that that trigger point has been released. Now you can see how much better my range of motion has gotten. My arm is no longer coming up as far. Instead, it's staying much closer to the ground, and I can almost get my thumb to touch the ground. So again, 10 to 20 repetitions, but I'm going off of what my body is telling me that it needs. If I feel like the trigger point has released, I'm going to relax and stand up and check how my range of motion looks. Now let's take a look at how I set this up one more time. So here we are. I'm going to lie back on that lacrosse ball. I'm going to find that trigger point, wedge that trigger point in between my back, the ball, and the ground, and then I'm going to perform that motion that I know I'm restricted in. Now again, discomfort, definitely I'm feeling it, but I'm not feeling pain. I'm not feeling a stabbing pain. I'm feeling an ache and I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm not feeling any numbness, any tingling, or any throbbing in that area or in my arm. That would be a sign that I should go and talk to a medical professional, because if I'm feeling that, something else is going on, something neurological, something vascular, something more serious than just a trigger point. Now, again, for repetitions, I do 10 to 20, that's me personally. I know a lot of individuals that will just sit there and camp out on that trigger point for a minute, 2 minutes, until it finally releases, and that's their method. I just prefer doing the movement because I know that I'm working my body through the range of motion that it needs and kind of re-educating my body that I can have that range of motion back. I'm really trying to build that mind-muscle connection that, okay, yeah, this trigger point was really limiting me in my range of motion. Now it's gone. Now it's released. I have this range of motion back that I can use. And it's something that my body will subconsciously remember, even though I might not consciously remember. So this has been how to use a lacrosse ball in order to improve shoulder abduction by targeting trigger points. I hope you found it educational, informative. You should always talk to a medical professional, a fitness professional before attempting something like this. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and please consider joining my Patreon. I'll catch you all in the next video.